Good day, everyone. So for our today's topic, we have the higher order derivatives. So let's start with the following notations given y equal to the function f of x. So we have for the first derivative, f prime of x. Take note that I'm using the word first, no? So dati derivative lang ang tawag natin, pero now I'm calling it the first derivative. Okay? So yung f prime of x is also known as y prime or can be denoted as y prime. So these are the more popular notations for the derivative or rather the first derivative. By default, pag sinabi nating derivative kasi, first derivative. Okay? So yung y prime, at the less popular notation for this is the dy dx. Yan, kasi medyo mahaba, no? Parang medyo may allergy tayo sa fractions. So yung second derivative, pakilala natin, that will be f double prime of x. Yan. And this is equal to y double prime. Another notation for that is y double prime. This is actually the derivative. Kung ito derivative of y with respect to x, ito naman derivative of y prime with respect to x. Pero what is y prime nga, di ba? Using this notation, we have this. Okay, substituting the dy of dx with the y prime, we have this notation. And another notation for this will be this one. Again, this is the less popular notation for the second derivative. So, more students and more teachers stick to this notation. Okay? Paano na yung third derivative? Pwede naman din. No? So, third derivative, magiging dadagdagan lang natin ng prime. Sorry, medyo nagkulang yata tayo ng prime dun sa isa. Let's use black ink. Okay. Dagdagan pa natin to ng prime. Dapat F triple prime kasi to Y triple prime to denote the third derivative. Paano kapag ka fourth derivative na, di ba? So, kung ito yung derivative ng second derivative, this is the derivative of the second derivative with respect to x. Yan. If we get the derivative of this third derivative, we'll be getting the fourth derivative. So, pag fourth, di na natin gagamitan ng prime, gagamitin na natin yung number. So, pag fourth derivative, it will be like this, no? Yan, with parentheses para hindi ma-confuse with the exponent. So, ganun siya. So, that refers to the fourth derivative of y with respect to x, given that y is a function of x. Okay, so let's find all the derivatives of this polynomial of degree 4. So when we say all, no, hanggat pwede nating kuhanan ng derivative, kukunin natin yung mga derivatives. Beginning with the first derivative. So lagi tayong nagsisimula muna sa first derivative. Okay? So first derivative, that will be 4x cubed plus 15x squared minus 1. So let's write it here. 4x cubed plus 15x squared minus 1. Now if we get the derivative of this one, makukuha na natin yung second derivative. So that will be 12x squared plus 30x. Kunin pa natin yung third derivative. So i-differentiate natin to. We'll be getting 24x plus 30. Then we can still get the fourth derivative from here. So fourth derivative will be 24. And then the fifth derivative will be 0. Okay? In fact, pag kinuha natin yung 6th derivative, 7th derivative, and so on and so forth, they will all be equal to 0. Okay? So that means the nth derivative of the function y is equal to 0. The nth derivative is 0 for all n greater than or equal to 5. Okay? So assuming n is a positive integer. Okay? So yun, nahanap na natin all the derivatives. Wala na tayong utang. Now, let's find the 10th derivative of the function y equal to sine 2x. Okay? So, trigo function, gamit tayo ng formula for sine. That will be cosine. So, cosine of 2x, pero differentiable pa rin yung 2x. Derivative of that is 2. Okay? Tapos, this can be rearranged as 2 cosine 2x. Diba? So, pwede nating ilabas muna yung 2. Tapos, differentiate natin itong function na to. Okay? Diba yung constant multiple rule? Labas natin muna yung 2, differentiate the rest of the function. This gives us negative sign. No? So, that gives us 2, negative sign 2x. Tapos, derivative nito, again, that will be 2. So, yung 2 and 2 here, pwede nating makombine. That will be negative 2 squared coming from the negative sign here. Tapos, sine 2x. Okay? Notice that I didn't write this as 4 kasi we're trying to establish a pattern between the exponent of these two and the derivative kasi kailangan natin is the 10th derivative. Okay? Kunin natin yung derivative pa nito. So again, labas natin tong constant. Yan, constant multiple rule. Differentiate the sine 2x. We get cosine 2x times 2. Just like the first one. Okay? Tapos the combining now the constants, we have negative 2 cubed cosine 2x. If we get the fourth derivative of this one, derivative of cosine, that will be negative sine again. So, negative 2 cubed, tapos negative sine 2x, and then you have a 2 again. Laging madi-differentiate pa natin to, no? Yan. So, negative and negative will cancel out, and that means you have 2 to the fourth power, 2 to the fourth power, then sine 2x. Okay? So, we can observe from here that the exponent of 2 is equal to the ordinal number of the derivative, no? Kung pang ilang derivative yung kinukuha natin. So, we can expect na pag sa 10th derivative, we will have 2 to the 10. Okay? Problem is, at paano natin malalaman kung positive, negative, or kung sine or cosine? So, mayroon tayong pattern kasi notice pagdating ng sine 2x, bumalik na siya dun sa original na function. Diba? Na positive, tapos, diba? So, bali mapapansin natin, ito yung synonymous dun sa first, sa original equation. Tapos, lalabas, ito na naman, ito yung fifth derivative, cosine. Negative sign is the 6th. 7th. Pagdating sa 8, ito na naman. So, ibig sabihin, all multiples of 4, babalik tayo kay original function. Tapos, kung pang ilan yung ating kinukuha, 10. No? So, that is 2 derivatives after 8 derivative, no? So, ibig sabihin, pagdating dito sa 8 derivative, I hope I'm getting it clearer. Yan, every time meron kang 4th, 8th, 12th derivative, no? Yung mga multiples of 4, magte-terminate ka ulit dito. Okay? Lalagyan mo lang ng 2 to the 4, 2 to the 8, 2 to the 12, respectively. So, ngayon, kailangan natin is the 10. So, nag-base tayo sa sine 2x. Tapos, kunin natin yung pang 9th derivative, pang 10th derivative. So, that means dito siya magpo-fall. So, ibig sabihin, yung kanyang coefficient will be negative 2 to the 10. Okay, let's write it here. That will be based on this one na naka-base doon. So, ito tayo. That will be negative 2 to the 10 and then sine 2x. Okay, so ayun po ang istorya ni 10th derivative. What about the fourth derivative of this one? Ito medyo maiksi lang kasi fourth derivative. So, let's get first the first derivative. So, yun yung kinakopy mo muna. Formula yan. Formula ng e to the u. And then derivative of that u with respect to x. So, we have 5 there. Okay? Tapos, kunin natin yung second derivative niya. By the way, we can write that as 5e to the 5x, no? So, lalabas, meron kang madodoble yung 5 mo kasi you will be writing that. Take note. Sorry. Let's get a blue one. This can be rewritten as 5e to the 5x. Okay, so yung multiple rule, no? So, kaya pagdating sa second derivative, meron kang 5 tapos e to the 5x times 5 again. Okay? So, kaya yung dalawang 5 pinag-combine, naging 5 squared na siya. Okay? So, you notice, ang magiging pattern natin, pagka third derivative, it will become e to the 5x times 5 cubed. So, pagdating sa fourth derivative, it will just be 5 to the fourth e to the 5x. Okay? So, ayan po ang ating final answer. Okay? What about the second derivative of this function? Okay? So, notice that, and unlike the previous examples, ito ay kailangan natin dito ng implicit differentiation. This is actually 2x cubed plus y squared equals 1 minus 4y. So, pag nag-i-implicit differentiation tayo, first step is to differentiate both sides, no? With respect to x. So, this gives us 6x squared. Ito yun. Yung y squared, that will be 2y, y prime. And then this one, you have negative 4 and then y prime. Ito siya. Okay? Tapos, we combine the terms with y prime. Yan. So, lipat siya doon. That would mean 2y prime plus 4y prime equals, ito naman, lipat sa right side, that will become negative 6x squared. And then, we factor the y prime. We factor it out. Labas natin to. That will be y prime times 2y plus 4 equals negative 6x squared. Then we divide both sides by 2y plus 4. So making it negative 6x squared all over 2y plus 4. But then what we want is the second derivative, no? Ito ay derivative na first, no? First derivative. Actually, pag sinabi nating find the derivative, ang default natin is the first derivative, okay? So second derivative means we have to differentiate this now again, no? Using the quotient rule. Okay, so quotient rule tayo, no? Derivative of the numerator and derivative of the denominator. So numerator is negative 12x. Dali lang, no? Pagdating sa denominator, may y tayo. So may y prime yan. You have 2y prime. Okay. So gamit tayo ng quotient rule. Okay, so derivative will be low d high minus high d low over low squared. Inuna na natin yung low squared. Okay, so low d high means the product of this. So we have negative 12x times 2y plus 4 minus the product of this. Since that is negative, we will be having plus 12x squared y prime. 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so ayun. Tapos, what we can do is substitute the negative 6x squared to y plus 4 to our y prime. Okay, yun na lang yung final touches. Pero this one will do. Okay. Now, let's have our time for question. Ay, by the way, balik tayo pala dito sa isa, no? Kung sakaling kailangan nating talagang isimplify pa, this will become negative 24xy minus 48x. And then for here, we have plus 12x squared all over multiplied by y prime, which is this expression, this fraction, negative 6x squared over 2y plus 4. 2, I will be factoring this. So magiging 2 times y plus 2. Yan. Magka-cancel yung 2 with the 12 here. So this will just become 6. Okay, so meron kang 2 times, this is 2 times y plus 2. So since that is being squared, that is 2 squared, y plus 2 being squared. Okay. Ayan. But then you have another y plus 2 here. So this one will be raised to the third power. Okay. So kailangan i-multiply lang natin to with y plus 2 kasi para maging similar fraction. So that will become negative 24xy minus 48x. Yan, kung medyo meticulous tayo dun sa ating solution, multiplied by y plus 2. This will become negative 6 and positive 6. That will be minus 36x to the fourth. Okay, all over. This is now 4. Tapos the y plus 2 here will be combined with the y plus 2 there. So it will be 4y plus 2 raised to the third power. Ayan. So to further simplify, you can just apply the FOIL method with this two binomials here. Okay, but this one will suffice. Okay. Ito kasi kailangan wag nating iwan eh. Okay. So ayun po, that is our final answer for the second derivative. Okay. Now let's have our time for questions. There are 5 items here. Let's begin with question number 1. Let's find the third derivative. Okay, fast forwarding our timer. Kunwari, nag-time is up na. Kunin muna natin si f prime of x. This will be 30x squared. Tapos ito naman magiging 10. This is of the form a to the u. Yung a to the u na formula natin. No? So 10 raised to x cubed times ln of 10 times the derivative of that one, which is 3x squared. Okay. This one, take note, is a constant. Yan. Tapos, f double prime of x will be 60x coming from this term, 60x. Tapos, for this one naman, this is now a product, no? So, labas muna natin yung ln10. Tapos, product nito, no? Yung derivative ng 10 to the x cube is the same thing. So, we copy the expression 10x cube ln10 times 3x squared. Kaya lang, we multiply, parang ang nilabas lang natin ito, tapos kinukuha natin derivative of the product of 10x cubed and 3x squared. Okay? So, ang ginawa ko, dinifferentiate ko to, which means I'm getting the derivative of the original second term again. So, ayun na naman si 10x cubed ln 10 times 3x squared. But then I will be copying this factor, di ba? Differentiate, copy. So pag kinopy ko to, that means I'll be raising this to the second power. Okay? Tapos plus, ito naman yung ika-copy. Ay, sorry, ito naman yung ika-copy. That's 10 to the x cube. Derivative of this is 6x. Okay. Medyo mahaba pala, no? So, habaan natin yung space for the third derivative. So for the third derivative, we have here 60. Yan, senior citizen. Tapos labas lang natin dito yung ln 10. And then differentiate na naman this, no? Ayun. Okay, so pwede na naman natin ilabas dito yung ln 10. Okay. Tapos pag dinifferentiate natin, ayun na naman si 10x cubed. Differentiating the 10x cubed gives us the same thing, no? 10x cubed, 10 to the x cubed ln 10 times 3x squared to the second power. 3x squared. Ito yung derivative. Tapos you will be copying the second factor. Kaya lang naka-second power siya. No? So pag ni-raise natin yung sa second power, tapos meron ka pa dito na isa na naka-raise sa 1, this means ma-raise to sa third power. Okay, product rule for 10 to the x cube and 3x squared na naka-square. Yun naman yung factors natin this time. Yan, ilabas ko na si ln 10. Okay. Plus, okay, ito naman yung ika-copy, si 10 to the x cube. Tapos derivative nung naka-raise sa second power, so we'll have the chain rule. That will be 2 times 3x squared times what? 6x. Derivative ng 3x squared is 6x. Medyo may kahabaan po yun. Sorry. Yun, close parenthesis. Okay. Plus the derivative of this one. Ay, sorry for the close bracket. Mayroon pa pala tayo, no? Okay. Ayun. Tapos plus this one. Dito tayo mag-focus. Okay. Copy muna natin. We can copy this one first. So plus 10 to the x cube. Remember that's a product. So get ready for the sum of two products. Copy. Derivative of that is 6. Also times 6. Plus, ito naman yung i-differentiate. Medyo madugo lang yung derivative ni 10 to the x cube, no? So, every time we're differentiating the 10 to the x cube, that these three factors will come out, no? So, 10 to the x cube, ln 10, tsaka 3x squared. Okay. Tapos, dinifferentiate. So, ika-copy natin si 6x. Yan, which can be combined nga into 18x cube. And close bracket na tayo. Okay, so that's it for our third derivative. Pwede pang ma-simplify to by combining this two. Ayun, and what else? Yung ln 10, probably, magiging ln 10 to the second power. Magiging ln of, hindi naman siya ln of 100 kasi the ln 10 is the thing that's being raised to the second power. Take note, no? Take note of that. ln 10 raised to the second power, this is not equal to ln of 100. Okay. Now, let's go to the 25th derivative of this one. Kaya-kaya ng powers natin to. Okay? So, 25th derivative, we have f prime of x. Let's see if we can establish a pattern. This will be 5 raised to 2x. Nasa form na naman siya na a to the u. So, derivative will be, what? Diba yun yung a to the u, ln a times u prime. Tatlo na naman yung factors mo, no? So, ln of 5 times derivative ng 2x, which is 2. Okay? So, itong dalawang to ay constants lang, no? So, 2 times 5 ln 2 times ln of 5. So, f double prime of x by constant multiple rule, this will be 2 times ln of 5. Tapos, differentiating the 5 to the 2x, we now have the same thing, the same set of factors, no? So, 5 to the 2x, ln of 5 times 2. Ayan. So, for the third derivative, let's see. Yan, na doble. Take note na doble yung 2, no? This is 2 squared, ln of 5 squared, tapos 5 to the 2x. Ayan. So, lumalabas yung exponent ng ating 2 and ln 5 depends on the ordinal number of the derivative. So, this is expected to be 2 cube, ln of 5 cube, tapos 5 raised to 2x. That's why for our 25th derivative, with this notation, this will be equal to 2 to the 25th power, ln of 5 to the 25th power, and then we have a 5 here raised to 2x. Okay, so that's it. Let's go to question number 3. Find the 101st derivative of this function. Okay, fast forwarding our timer. Yan, bali tingnan natin if we can establish again a pattern. This will be f prime of x. This is cosine x. Tapos derivative ng cosine is negative sign. So that will become plus sine x. Tapos second derivative naman, no? Derivative ng cosine is negative sine x. Derivative ng sine is positive cosine. Ayan. So it pays to know your formulas. This is now third derivative na tayo. Negative sine, derivative is negative cosine x. Derivative ng cosine is minus sine. Okay. So for the fourth derivative ng cosine is negative sign. But with the negative sign here, this will become sine x. Derivative ng negative sign, negative cosine x. Again, you just went back to the original function. Okay? So yung mga multiples of 4 na naman, this will be equal to the 8th derivative, and so on and so forth. No? So basta multiple ng 4, this is equal to the nth derivative of x, of f of x, as long as n is a multiple of 4. Okay, so yung mga 4, 8, 12, 16, yan. Pag kinuha mo yung derivative na yon, sin x minus cosine x ka lang. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yung 100th derivative will fall under this. Okay, nandito siya. Ito yung 100th derivative. So, pag dinifferentiate mo to, you'll be getting the 101st derivative, and that will be equal to this one. This will be the 101st derivative. So, ang answer natin will be cosine x plus sine x. So, that's it for our 101st derivative. Now, for the fourth question, find the value or values of x when f double prime of x is equal to 0. Okay, fast forwarding our timer. Kunin natin yung f prime of x. This will be 4x cubed minus 12x. Okay, kunin natin yung second derivative. This will be 12x squared minus 12. So if we equate this to 0, as indicated here, okay, to solve for x, satisfying this quadratic equation, Nagkataong quadratic yung second derivative natin. We do some factoring. So 12. Then we have x squared minus 1 equals 0. So this is 0 if x equals positive or negative 1. So positive and negative 1 are the values of x making our second derivative 0. Okay. Now for question number 5, let's determine the value of y double prime at pi over 4 1/2. Yan. Okay, fast forwarding our timer again, this will become 24 y squared. But of course, you have a y prime na extra factor. This will be 2x. Then for tangent x, we have a second squared x. And then this one, if we are to rewrite this, this is pi over 4 y raised to negative 2 para mas madali, no? Nasa form siya na cy to the n. Pero of course, sorry, dapat maano tayo, no? Conscious tayo that we will have to attach the y prime. Okay, that's minus lang. Okay? And then, so, pi over 4 times 2 is pi over 2. So, negative pi over 2 with the negative here na multiplier. So, minus negative, that will be plus pi over 2. Tapos, negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Okay, we leave it as is kasi i-differentiate pa ulit natin siya, yung second derivative. Okay. Yan. So, pwede naman din kunin yung second derivative. Yan. Kaya lang ay isolate natin yung y prime, no? Y prime will be, sorry, there's y prime here. So, we have 24 y squared. Tapos, for here, yung y prime, labas na natin at the same time. Tapos, for here, we have minus, magiging minus siya pagdating dito sa kabila, minus pi over 2 y to the negative 3. We already factored the y prime. Tapos we have a second squared x pa din on that side. Then plus 2x. Okay, so our y prime is a quotient. So y prime is now the quotient. Second squared x. Naku, medyo mahaba ito. Plus 2x all over 24y squared minus pi over 2 y to the negative 3. Okay, so tingnan natin yung powers natin for the second derivative. Yan. This will be low d high minus high d low over law squared. So law squared lang muna tayo. 24y squared minus pi over 2 y to the negative 3 raised to the second power. And then your low d high, low is 24y squared minus pi over 2. We're copying the low. Tapos for our derivative of the high, derivative of this, ano tayo, chain rule, babase 2. Tapos si second x copy. Tapos for the derivative of second x, di ba yun yung second tangent. So that means yung second marirepeat as factor. So we have to square that tangent x. Okay. Tapos plus the derivative of this term plus 2. We're done with the low d high minus high d low. Kopyahin si high. Okay. Tapos yung d low natin, that will be 48y y prime. Yan, minus pi over 2 ay times negative 3, no? So that will be positive 3, 3 pi over 2. Tapos negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Tapos syempre, meron kang y prime. Okay, so that's it, no? Ayan. So ang gagawin na ngayon natin is to substitute pala the pi over 4 to our x and the 1/2 to our y. Okay? So 1/2 to our y. So that means 1/2 squared is 1/4. So 24 times 1/4, this will become 6. Ayan. Tapos this will become pi over y to the negative. Magiging y to the, ano to, no? Magiging 2 cube. So that will be 8 over 2. So this will be 4 pi Okay, so magiging 6 minus 4 pi. Okay. Tapos ito, secant of pi over 4. That will be square root of 2. Pero pag ini-square mo, that will just be 2. Tangent pi over 4 is 1. So, ayun, medyo magiging clear na siya. So, again, secant pi over 4 is square root of 2. Pag ini-square, that will just be 2. So, this is 2 times pi over 4. So, pi over 2. Okay. Ayan. So, 24 times 1/4. Same as this factor. This is 6. 6. Tapos, this is 4 pi. Sabi natin kanina, magiging 4 pi lang to. Okay. So, that will be 6 minus 4 pi quantity square. Tapos for here naman, we have 48 times y. That's 48 divided by 2. 24 tong factor na to. Yung y prime, kailangan pala nating isolve din. Tapos 3 pi over 2. Y to the negative 4 is 2 to the 4th, which is 16. Divided by 2, that will be 8. Okay, so kailangan natin yung y prime, no? So secant squared x, secant squared pi over 4 is 2. Plus 2 times pi over 4, that will be pi over 2. Medyo mahaba po, ano? 24 times 1/4 is 6. Tapos ito yung nagiging 4 pi na lang. Okay. Ayun, so bali ang answer natin. Let's change our color para mas mapansin. So our y double prime, sana makita pa din siya. This is 6 minus 4 pi. Tapos, 2 times 2 times 1 is 4 plus 2. That will be 6. Minus, this is 2 plus pi. This factor here is 2 plus pi. Tapos dito naman we have 24. Ang y prime natin is this long thing, no? 2 plus pi over 2. All over 6 minus 4 pi. Sorry for that. Yan. Masisimplify pa nga ito actually. Yan. I'm leaving the simplification to you. Tapos plus 3 pi over 2 times 3 times 8 na lang pala, no? 3 times 8. Kasi 16 over 2, that will be 24 pi. Tapos yun na naman, yung mahaba na naman na yun. Okay? Since dalawang beses nag-appear si y prime, common factor na lang pala siya. Let's see. Kasi may y prime, you have a y prime here and a y prime here. No? So gawin na lang natin siyang common factor na 24 plus 24 pi. Let me get my eraser para mas matipid sa space. Instead of writing the fraction again, so yung cofactor niya is 24 plus 24 pi. Okay. So that's for the numerator that we have all over. Yan, sorry for the medyo messy na solution. This is 6 minus 4 pi raised to the second power. Ayun. Okay. So, pwede pa itong isimplify. Magiging 36 minus 24 pi, etc. etc. Okay. So, ayun po. Meron bang mafa-factor? Maka-cancel out? Wala na, no? Ayun. Medyo ano kasi tedious kapag naging quotient rule ang gagamitin. Maglo-low di high di low tayo. Ayun. So, that's it for our last question. Talagang definitely not the list, no? So I hope you got 5 out of 5 in that set of exercises. Ayun. So with that, let us end our discussion with this quote. Just like the games we play, the fun in learning mathematics is in the challenge. Yan. So sana ay lalo pa kayong na-inspire with the challenges instead of giving up. So laban lang po. Okay? So ayan. So with that, have a good day. God bless everyone.